Okay, y'all. Some of you may know, I think only like one person was even able to hop on earlier, but I tried to do this a few minutes ago, no, like an hour or so ago, and we had an ant crisis, so sorry. But now Daddy's home, so I'm outside, but just the dog is so annoying, so please ignore the whining noises in the background. But I wonder, I don't know if anybody's gonna hop on, but I hate to like wait because I don't want to make the playback take forever. Anyway, so I am gonna go ahead and I wanted to tell y'all about my convention experience from last year, because I know I always kind of allude to what a crazy situation it was, and so I figured I just need to like tell the whole story. So back, I signed up as an ambassador September 2015. However, I had zero intention of working this business. As I've said 1,000 times, I was not going to be that person on social media, did not want to add something else to my life. I was a teacher. I had a newborn. Hi, Christina. I'm telling my convention story from last year. So I was saying I signed up in September 2015 as an ambassador after having been a preferred customer for a few months, and absolutely loved the products, but I just wanted them at wholesale, like a lot of people start out. And just didn't think I had time, had no desire whatsoever. And so my best friend was a Rodan and Fields consultant, had tried to get me to do that, and I was like, I don't have time. And let's be real, that wasn't something I was passionate about, which, look at my skin, obviously. So anyway, I need to get some more of that stuff. Anyway, but so I joined, and then convention was not even like, I don't even know what that meant. I think pretty quickly, obviously, in October, Leaders Retreat happened, so I saw, some of the team members that I really didn't even know yet at all, except for Sally, going to Leaders Retreat, and I was like, that's so fun, but I just, I never thought, that's anything I'll do. I'm like, that's crazy, what a commitment, And so, talk of convention started, and it just wasn't even something that really registered with me, and wasn't, like I said, I wasn't working the business at all. And then all of a sudden in January, I had kind of posted here and there, and I think kind of emailed out that to friends and family that I was, I had this Plexus website, so if they ever wanted to try something, to let me know. But so I did get a couple customers here and there, and then I think I posted a couple times on Facebook, whatever. Fast forward January, I went silver, and I was like, this is kind of cool, and I started making some money, and I was like, wow, this was really easy. And so I started hearing things about convention, but it still wasn't on my radar at all. And so I wasn't thinking about it, but I started kind of watching my convention credits, and I was like, oh, I have some decent credits. And we even thought maybe this would be kind of fun. Maybe Drew could go with me. I talked with a friend who is not an active ambassador, but she signed up wholesale under somebody else, and she was like, I might like to go and just kind of learn more about things. We had no idea. We didn't know what it meant. And so we kind of toyed with the idea of the four of us going and just sort of hanging out. And but that fell through, because I was like, I'm a teacher. I was going to be off, but what am I going to do with my kids for a whole week? It's not like my husband can just take off for a week. And my parents both worked, and so it just didn't happen. But then I was like, oh my gosh, I started really working my business, and I was growing a team. And in April, I was like, I want to go gold, and I want to do it next month when Sally's going emerald. And so I did. I worked really hard. I got it together, and was working, on my lunch hour at school, things like that. And I went gold in May when Sally went emerald. And I was like, wow, this is really fun, and this is like actually lucrative. And so they decided like they were going to do a celebration in Vegas for Emerald. Okay, and I was like, I want to be a part of that. Like, what in the world? I want to be there. But registration had closed, okay, because I hadn't signed up, even though I'd won my registration money back, okay? I'd won winner's dinner, like all the stuff, and it was too late. It was closed. And so I was so disappointed, and I was like, what do we do? So Sally and I even reached out to Melissa Darby to see, like, can she pull any strings? Is there any way that we can, like, get you know, somebody who's not going to go? Can we like get transfer tickets? No, they're non-transferable. I had a weird situation, like Melissa found this girl that wasn't going to go anymore, but we were going to still try and transfer the tickets, and this girl was like so rude. I can't even explain it to you. When I reached out to her, she was terrible, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is weird. So I finally kind of gave up on convention. I was like, forget it, it's not going to be possible. However, we figured out in the meantime, my husband is a pastor, a worship pastor and care pastor. Anyway, he has been on staff for 9 years at our church, and he was being given a sabbatical for 5 weeks, which is incredible. And so he was going to be off for 5 weeks. And day one was convention. And so that was crazy. That was just God looking back. And so I was like, look, my mom works for American Airlines, or she did. She just retired, but she worked for American Airlines, so we could fly on passes. And I decided, you know what? I'm just going to go for the Emerald celebration. I know that's crazy. Sherry, sweet, precious Sherry Morton, did not even know me other than, you know, just from like brief interactions on Facebook. But she was like, look, I have this place where you can stay for free. And so, come, like, just come crash on the sofa bed, and you know, you can go out with us for Sally's celebration. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Maybe, you know, heck, I'll like lay by the pool one day and go, you know, out to dinner with everybody one night, and then I'll just come back. And I knew it was gonna be sad to leave, but whatever. So that's what we do, okay? Which is crazy. I am not usually spontaneous and just off the cuff like that, but decided I'm just gonna do it. I just want to do it. I am extrovert to the extreme, and I want to be with the people, and have major FOMO, fear of missing out. Wasn't gonna happen. And so I fly out there, and I fly standby. I don't get there until like 2 in the morning my time. It's like 4 in the morning Vegas. No, switch that. 4 in the morning my time, 2 in the morning Vegas. And my first Uber experience ever, like, just crazy. You know, that's not where you want to like be figuring this stuff out, is probably Vegas, but everybody was so nice. And so we wake up the next morning, and everybody's going to register for convention. And by the way, you know, I get into these people's suite with like Sherry and Tammy and Kelsey and Melanie. Never laid eyes on them in real life before, ever. And so I show up at their suite in the middle of the night. She had reserved a key for me, you know. So we all wake up the next morning. I'm like, hi, I'm Paige. And they were so precious. It wasn't awkward. I didn't feel awkward. They probably felt awkward. Anyway, but so everybody's going to register for convention, and I'm like, I'm so sad. And so I decided to just go with them and walk through, and you know, I'm standing with them, and I was like, I'm just gonna go up to this lady. There were 2 ladies sitting at a desk. I said, I'm just gonna go up to her, and I'm gonna say, I flew from Waco. I am just wondering if there's any way that I can go to anything. Like, is there any little side workshop? Is there anything that I can go to while I'm here? I've come all the way here just for a day or 2. And I even said, I think I said, like, I won my registration fee. I even won winner's dinner, but I was an idiot and I didn't get, you know, whatever. And she was like, well, it's really too late. We're not supposed to do this. She was, you know, just talking normal. And then all of a sudden she just whispered, what's your name? And I was like, Paige Greenway. She's like, you know, we really have to be careful. We're not supposed to allow. Okay, what's your address? Where are you from? Like, so she just starts like sneaking me in. And she's typing everything in, and she makes me a little badge, and she hands me a brochure, and she's kind of like pretending to tell me something. She's like, put your card in there. So I put my credit card like in the brochure and hand it back to her, pay for everything that I'd won, but whatever. And so she snuck me in, totally snuck me in. And then she handed me something else that had my badge inside of it. And that was it. I was in. And so then, I have to call Drew, and I'm like, well, guess what? I'm actually going to stay. Is that okay? And he's like, what? What are you talking about? When are you going to be home? So it was crazy, y'all. So I snuck in. I got in. And I went to everything. And it was incredible. It was incredible, y'all. Being there, like the sessions, all of that was so amazing because it just pumps you up. There's nothing like it other than if you've ever been to some kind of like big worship conference or something like that, which sounds really weird to compare it to. Hopefully you understand what I mean by that. Just the energy and the excitement and the music and all that is so fun. It gets you so fired up. And then the training, of course, is incredible, and the amazing speakers that were there were so challenging and so helpful. Because, y'all, I'd never done this. Network marketing meant nothing to me. I had no clue what I was doing. And so then to get to sit and hear these speakers that they brought in and also sit under diamonds and other jewels teaching was incredible. It taught me what it meant like, what it looked like to work my business on a daily basis and the pace at which to run. Because as I was sitting there, and I think I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. As I was sitting there watching these jewels, I had this thought, like, they're not different. They're not special. Not that they're not special. Of course they're special. Everybody's special in their own way. You know what I mean? But why couldn't I do this? Like, so many of them are moms or teachers or nurses or, they're not these like high-powered business women that just stumbled onto this because they're in the right place at the right time. Like, they were normal women, and they became passionate, and they became determined, and they developed a work ethic for this business and a passion for how to do it right, and they took off. And a lot of them like talked about Jesus and just how God was using their businesses and their incomes and all that. And I was like, yeah, why not? Like, why couldn't that be me? I want to do that. That's what I want to do. And I had actually literally the day before decided that I was going to stay home from teaching, which is a whole nother long story, that was not really a planned thing. And I could just feel it. Like, I could just feel it in my spirit of God saying, this is what I have for you. And so it totally just set me on fire. It totally set me on fire. And I talked on Kim's Zoom the other night about coming home and like just being a crazy person, reaching out to every single person that I'd like ever met and sharing with them. And so, but the other thing that it did for me was create a bond with Sally's team that was absolutely invaluable. And I've talked about this before, but like, that's where I met all of these people that have become some of my dearest, closest friends, like real life friends, not just, Plexus friends, but real, true, deep friends. And so that was amazing. That was not something I was expecting or looking for even. I have great friends here in Waco. Like, it wasn't like I was seeking out this community, but it has been the biggest blessing. And so being there with them, it just creates a bond. We have stories. We have this shared history now. And I think it makes me better at my job even. And so, of course it does, because I talk to these people on a regular basis, and they challenge me, and they give me ideas, and we hold each other accountable. And so, yeah, it for sure has, it changed everything. So that's my crazy convention story. Oh, I wanted to say, so it was so funny. So I told you beforehand, I had been talking to Melissa Darby some. We'd been trying to figure it out. This was the first time we'd ever like talked, and it was just, you know, on like Facebook Messenger. And so we get there, I'd never met her, and she and Debbie Darby had a suite, and so they had a big party, like a big come and go. I mean, there are 1 million people, and so it was just a real quick thing. We like went in, gave her a hug, and went out. But when I met her, I was like, I'm here, it's me. And she was like, oh my gosh, Paige, what happened? How did you do this? And we told her the story, and she was, and I think I've said this before, but she was like, oh my goodness, I have goosebumps. I have goosebumps on goosebumps. I can just see it now. This is going to be in your Diamond Doc someday, that you snuck into convention. And it just made me have tears. Like, it just made me stop and get so emotional and goosebumpy and all of that too, because, you know, and I don't know what God has in store. I don't. But that's what I'm headed. Like, that's how I'm working. You know, that's my goal. And so just for her to speak that belief into me and just be so encouraging was another huge blessing of convention. I wouldn't have met her. And since then, we've gotten together and we talk a lot. But it was just the beginning of all of that. It was the beginning of all of that. So all this is to say, if you can get to convention, get to convention. Whether you think that you should because of where you are or not. It's for anyone. It is for anyone. And it will be beneficial in some form or fashion for everyone. So if you're going, get excited. I know you are excited. And if you're on the fence, go. Just go. You need to go. I'm telling you, you need to go. So anyway, sorry that was a lot longer than I intended it to be, but I love you guys. It's just cool to see how God knows. He knows so much better than we do. So much better. So anyway, happy, what is this, Wednesday? Love y'all. Let's talk soon.